You're such an asshole.
Hello, children. All right. One I don't really have an answer to. Hey, Mr. Clary, longtime viewer since 2017. Finally making a request. Please keep me fairly anonymous. I work for a large company. They're making us come back to the office for several days a week. The problem is I live an hour and 15 minutes away, and I don't want to commute. I do like my job. You make very good money, and you have very good savings, and you have no debt. I own a rental along with a relative of mine. Profit for me is 600 a month. I live at home with them as well as help them out and pay 500 a month rent and help around the place. How do you pay yourself rent? I don't get it. All right, never mind. Should I buy a house closer to the city? I could definitely afford it. Or should I bite the bullet and buy a house in the country, rural area outside the major town, close to where I already live and commute an hour and a half, hour, 15 minutes one way? Really tired of commuting. I dislike cities very much so, but rather hate commuting more if push comes to shove to live closer. Houses in the rural areas, 200 to 300,000. Houses near where I work, 330 to 450,000. Let me know the best route to take the situation. Price for video response. Thank you. I want to make a move and a decision in 1 month max. Let's be hasty. I said, well, finding a house may take more than 1 month max. I guess the only question I have is why have you applied for jobs that are remote and you won't be able to do much in terms of moving or the other stuff, let alone house hunting if you're commuting all the time. Have you even looked at other houses? Haven't applied to other jobs, remote jobs, since most are not hiring. This job is really good at flexible hours. Okay, so you like your job. I've only looked at houses in my area, not where work is located, since I've been remote for 2 years and really didn't need to. I have 2 more weeks of 100% remote work before going in the office for you. All right. You do not have enough. Here's my. I have ruled. I have decided. You don't have enough information to make a decision. What I would do is get yourself a 3-month rental near the office. Your hour and 15-minute commute is not worth it. I would go find some cheap room you can rent. Find some on Airbnb. Rent it at least for a month, if not 3 months. So you can, one, start looking for a house. Two, figure out whether the lack of commute is worth, in other words, the benefit you get from not having to commute is uh, more of a benefit than your dislike or distaste for living in the city. All right. Because if you're like, oh, the city ain't that bad, now all of a sudden, yeah, maybe you do want to buy a house in the city. All right. But if you're like, after a month at your Airbnb or your short term rental, like, I hate this town, that now you know. Now you know that you don't want to buy a house in the city. Because right now you don't know. You're like, well, I could get a house in the city. Well, that's a lot of paperwork and signing documents and closing costs and all that other stuff. And it will change your financial situation. Go live in the city and make sure first that you can even live there. Because if you find out, no, I can't do it. All right, now you know buying a house in the city is off. That's off the table, and now you're just stuck with an hour and 15-minute commute. I'd ask if there's a way you could get the best of both worlds. Well, that's another thing. While you're in the city, you're going to have to do some house shopping. All right, see what's available. But then is there a way you could get within an hour, 45 minutes, one-way commute? By a train? We just take the train in and back. I don't know if they got trains in your town or not. But yeah, you gotta do, and I know you want to be out in a month max. Buying a house is not a month decision. Go live in the area you think you're going to go buy a house, or go live real close to work so that you free up the time. Ideally, you'd live where you could walk to work, and then you go bum around town and find out if there's a place that you like that you could actually tolerate. So you're going to kind of be away from your family a little bit. Don't worry, they'll hold down the fort. You have enough money, you could afford yourself an Airbnb for at least a month. And once you got boots on the ground, you kind of see what the situation is, see what it is without a commute. I think you'd be able to make a better decision. If I see, you really like your job, that's the problem. Wait, it's not a problem, it's a blessing, but Yeah. But rather hate commuting more if push comes to shove to live closer. Yeah. And I know I didn't want to say what you wanted to buy outside of the city because that would identify you a little bit. And I understand that. You don't have another job. Like if you had another job, I would go apply for some. I know they're not hiring. Contact the recruiter, see if you could find a job just to see what your market value is. That might be remote work. Because if you could beat remote work, you could live your dream. But otherwise, if I had a rule now, what I would recommend is you go rent a cheap place downtown. Don't buy a house. Scope it out, see what you like. And then I'd keep working this job because you are handsomely paid. You like the job, save up a little bit more money, and then reevaluate this in a year. All right. That's what I would do. But yeah, I would not be in. Do not rush yourself to go buy a house. Ba, 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 ba. See, if I had to do one, buy a house in the city or buy one out. If you want me to make that decision, I buy it in the country because they're not going to buy two. Look, you're not long for the city. You're going to make your money. You're going to get your FU money, or you find a new job. You're going to move out. So I would buy the house in the country, but you're going to sell your current house, right? Are you looking to buy a second home? Second home's going to be a pain in the ass, by the way, just so you know. But I would be more on line of like, look, I buy my dream home, sell my rental, have my relatives live with me, help subsidize the mortgage, and then just bite the bullet with the community. If you wanted one or the other, that's what I would do because you're going to save yourself closing costs and all that, which would pay for your commute at least for a couple of years. You got the job, blah, 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 making them happy. You only have to be there several days a week, not all 5. So it's not that bad. It really is more like what 50-minute commute one way when you factor that in. Can you do it? You go in early, leave early. Can you cut it down a little bit? But if I had to buy a house in the city now or buy a house in the country now, I buy a house in the country now. And then suffer the next 2 years and then be squirreling away my money and be like, okay, now I'm done. And I go work some other job locally or online. But imagine, here's another thing I behoove you to do. Please start looking for jobs online. See if you can't find a job online. See if you can't find some contract work online. It would make your decision a lot easier if you had some contract work or a full-time job or like, oh yeah, this job pays 80 grand a year and it's online and they don't want me to come in. They don't even have offices. I'm like, oh, I get my house in the country. Think you spend 2.5 hours every day commuting. Have you spent 2.5 hours? Have you spent 1 hour a day? Contacted a recruiter like, hey, what's it look like out there for remote work? There we go. 3 comments, 1 super chat. Captain 250. Are we long overdue to overthrow the corrupt government? Is it really corrupt? Okay, was there some cheating on the voting? Probably. But have you looked around? Have you been to a Walmart recently? The people in office do represent the people in the public. I mean, yes, I know some conservative, libertarian-leaning folk, but I look out into the general public, I'm like, no, shitty people, shitty Democrats. I mean, it kinda so is it corrupt? They're getting what the people are getting what they want. Is it long overdue to overthrow the corrupt government? I ask you this. You're gonna overthrow this. Okay, fine, it's corrupt, but it's representative, I would say, generally speaking. What are you gonna do? Kill half the people in the country? Half the people want free shit. Half the people want to be degenerate parasites. Now, it's not right, it's not moral, but that's what they want. They vote for it. What are you going to do? Manage these people? What are you going to do if these people don't want to work? You're going to have to go to war with them. You're going to have to murder them. Or I guess kill, depending on how the technical. I don't know about you, but my life is somewhat precious. I don't want to waste it hunting down people. I just move. So are we long overdue to throw out corrupt politicians? Yes. Streamline the government, make it more fair and equitable, and just absolutely. But what? Just kick the Democrats out? No, they're there more or less authentically because half the population is a bunch of parasitic scumbags. Frankenfoot, $5. Bought all your books. Do you do business idea evaluations? No. Contact Business Buyer Advantage. Dave. Talk to Dave. BusinessBuyerAdvantage.com. He'll let you know. And he's worth every penny you pay him. All right, that's it. Link below. I don't know. There's some link below. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.